Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee this 8th of June 2023. I note that all councillors are in attendance. There's no apologies today. I'll begin with the acknowledgement of country. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people. Are there any declarations of interest in matters on the agenda today? No? There's no business outstanding, so we will move to confirmation of the minutes of the Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee number 4 of 2023. I will move that. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman. Does anyone have any comments, corrections, issues to raise in relation to those minutes? No? Okay, so the recommendation at the minutes of the Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee held on 11th of May be confirmed. We'll put the matter to the vote. Those in favour? Looking around the room, noting that's unanimous and carried. So we'll move on to item number 2 on the agenda today, which is the first of the officers' reports. That's the report concerning the Ipswich Central Revitalisation 6-monthly report for June 2023. Would anyone like to speak to the relevant council officer? No? Could I have the recommendation that the report be received and the contents noted? Could I have a mover, please? Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Milligan. Is there any discussion? Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Chair? This is a very impressive report, and really a really interesting one. The details really interesting in it too. The amount of activation that's happening, but not just council, Ipswich Central partnerships, businesses. It's just really been. It's a very good activation, and I, in particular, look at the street patio. And it's just interesting to see that over 80% of respondents would like to see more street patios. And they found it more appealing. And I know, Councillor Doyle, you know, we've had a number of cafes who are asking, can they be the next for that as well? And, you know, a lot of interest in the shop top living, especially in this housing crisis too. It's just phenomenal to see that level of interest.
Yeah. Thank you. I agree. It's a great summary. It's a very comprehensive report, just outlining all the achievements so far, not only for Nicholas Street Precinct, but Ipswich Central revitalisation, both top of town and downtown. We have lots of businesses who've been operating for years, and they're just delighted to see the work and the changes. And yes, the patio is very, very successful and popular. It will move on from Oikos to its new location soon. And just as part, I guess, as my role as chair, I receive regular monthly updates from both the NSP team and the Ipswich Central, the Economic Development team. So it's great to see everybody working together and some great initiatives and pieces of work in place.
I think it's interesting because last year we obviously received the Bull and Bear report on the economic impact of the Nicholas Street Precinct. So we're not like a normal developer, like we have, but we're also looking at what are the benefits outside. You know, we're not like a shopping centre that just cares about itself. That we're looking at what that economic lift is outside. So for the top of town, other areas, and Bull and Bear said it'd be a $1.2 billion economic input between now and 2032. So it's getting people in and seeing this activation. You can see that it's happening, and I know the businesses, when I speak to the top of town, they can't wait till Hoyts is in there. So it'll be just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we've discussed many times it's a catalyst project, and what that actually means is, it's bringing the wider economic benefits to Ipswich, not just Ipswich Central. So it's good to see that, I guess, defined and set out by Bull and Bear, but when you actually see it happening in practice, it's great. And the feedback from businesses and residents has been terrific as well. So, look forward to continuing with the good work. And thank you to council officers for putting together that report. Is there any further commentary, discussion? No, we'll put the matter to the vote then. All those in favour? Noting it's unanimous and carried. Moving on to item number 3, which is the Nicholas Street Precinct Retail Steering Committee April 2023 report. Would anyone like to speak to the relevant council officer? I will. Thank you. Thank you. Would you state your name and title for the committee, please?
James Hepburn, I'm Precinct Director for Nicholas Street.
Thank you, Mr. Hepburn. Just wondering if you can confirm the status, please, of the appointment of the new agent for venue, and if there has been any progress.
This week, the contract was awarded to the new agent, and we're just waiting them to finalise it, and then we'll be able to release who that is. So it's just currently with the procurement team. What we have already confirmed with the outgoing agent Ranbury is that their engagement has come to an end, and we're just in the process of handing over some of the negotiations that are currently live that sit with them and just finalising their account.
Great. Okay, so that was going to be my next question. The current work, the current leads, that information will be handed to our new agent?
Yeah, the Ranbury team have actually been very good in the process. They've handed over all of the leads, and we've come to a really simple conclusion to the financial commitment side of things. So I don't see any of the existing deals being delayed, but by this transition, we have been delayed, I think, as we've noted over the last couple of months, by the process of procurement, which is standard in this situation, but hopefully that momentum will return for next month.
Okay, great. Can we just have an update, please, on the toilets in Tulma Walk? There's a little bit of gossip around town that they're pretty glamorous looking. Will they be available to the general public?
They will. We've been holding back that part of the precinct until we had a bit more critical mass of open tenancies within Tulma Walk. In about 2 weeks' time, we should see the opening of Bum Bum Bao, which is the Vietnamese restaurant, which would be quite exciting. And then shortly thereafter, we should see Olsetica open. There's a bit of a delay there, I think, with their shop front, as they're looking at a curved glass scenario, which has taken a while to procure. But having those open alongside Sushi Hayo, alongside Zambrero, Olsetica and Terry White, and the Sophia Nails, gives us enough then to open up the public toilets on that side.
Okay.
So they will be closest to the Bell Street entrance to the train station, and through our precinct team, we're just looking at some interim graphics and wayfinding to bring those to life. But they are high quality toilets with family orientated baby changing facilities available.
Okay, great. But on a more serious note, public toilets have been a bit of an ongoing issue, I guess, within our CBD for some years now. So I know residents and visitors alike to Bell Street are looking forward to having those public toilets back open. Thank you. I've got any further questions? Thank you, Mayor.
If I may. Thank you, Mr. Hepburn. I see on page 186 you talk about there's some more interest, and you have a few more organisations have registered interest for the precinct there?
Yes.
For new brands?
This is exciting. This has actually come through our own advertising through industry press that we've been looking at through Inside Retail and Shopping Centre News. That 4 is actually now 5, and most excitingly, 2 of those are local fitness and health providers. So they've recently just started talking to us about terms and about layout of their facilities within the precinct. So we'll be looking to partly hand those over to the incoming leasing team to help us bring those deals forwards to this committee.
Okay. And I can read obviously about the Commonwealth Hotels extensions, and I guess what's that timeline looking like now?
It's still a little bit up in the air. We have the ability to open within a quite a wide time frame. A lot of it relies on Oz Hotels, the tenant. They have only recently just provided all of their as-built drawings, which means that they are now out in the market to find a fit-out contractor.
Okay. Excellent.
So they're going through their own procurement and tender process, which is really good news. Well, we can't obviously be part of that or control that, but it'll be good to see that come to fruition, and then that will really give us a clear guidance on when they can open by. So we're still very much tracking for or hoping for later this year, or perhaps early the next year.
And now with the decisions by council to do with the venue and mould, how are those things progressing now?
Yeah, there's been a lot of work on the venue site in particular. The Hutchinson team have now obviously got been empowered to forge ahead in the removal of the mould. It's about a 22-week process overall. They've got 12 weeks of mould removal remaining, and then there'll be a slight overlap with the rebuild depending on which screen they happen to be in at any one time. So there's a lot of progress there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Hepburn.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hepburn. It's the recommendation that the April 2023 Retail Sub-Project Steering Committee report be received and the contents noted. Could I have somebody move that? Thank you, Mayor. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Milligan. Is there any discussion?
I think it's just great to see that the continuing interest, and obviously success breeds success. So obviously the more that comes in, the more that this happens as well. So it's great to see. And it's great to see that Hutchies have cracked on. They've been phenomenal in building this building here and other parts of the Nicholas Street precinct as well. You know, and I think nearly everyone there lives in Ipswich. Whenever I go past the building site, I think most of it were born and raised and educated here in Ipswich. So it's everyone's really cracking onto it, which is good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm responding to residents' questions all the time about when we'll see certain parts of the development open, and just in relation to the Commonwealth Hotel, yeah, I guess the point of difference there is that the construction, the builder will be contracted by our tenant, Oz Hotel. So as opposed to us doing, venue. So, yeah, confident that they're headed in the right direction, and we'll see that one open very soon.
And I think that'll probably happen with venue too. It'll hand over to them for them to do their fit out for hoints.
Yeah. But venues, I guess, a much larger, more complex build before it's handed over for that section. Yeah, so any further discussion? No, we'll put the matter to the vote. Those in favour, noting it's unanimous and carried. Moving on to item number 4, which is the Nicholas Street Precinct Brand and Activation Manager Report for May 2023. Could I have the relevant council officer come forward, please? Just state your name for the committee, please.
Karen Sutton, Brand and Activation Manager for the Nicholas Street Precinct.
Thank you, Karen. We always, sorry, Miss Sutton, we always look forward to your update and a bit of a glimpse as to what's ahead. Can you give us an idea of what events we've got coming up?
We have a rawsome school holiday activity coming up.
Sorry,
Excuse the pun. Sorry, yes. It's going to be rawsome. We have an amazing activation that's coming. This particular activation has been in Melbourne, more recently at Taronga Zoo as well. It is a series of 28 animatronic dinosaurs that come to life through sound and through motion, and they will be allocated throughout Nicholas Street and the precinct.
Mm-hmm. Just generally in relation to the events, I guess we've been activating for a good while now. Are you getting a sense of some events and activations that aren't as successful as others, and how do we respond to that? Are we changing our programming accordingly?
Absolutely. So we always take on board the visitor feedback, and we have certainly found events that, I guess given the nature of the environment as well, sometimes our evening events, weather is often impacting on some of our events as well. So there are definitely some events that haven't probably built the traction just yet. But I think the beauty of that space is that we, have a lot of trial and error, and we can really, take that space and do some amazing things in it. So, we always take on board the feedback. Obviously, school holidays is our really trying to position it there. We really want to build the evening economy as well. So going into next year, we'll try to work on those options
Great.
to bring those events into the evening space. And we've got so many things on offer as well. So, families, couples, there's all sorts of things that we can do. So it's just up to our imaginations, really.
Great. And, it's not only, I guess, about council's activations, but as you mentioned, the nighttime economy, driving through town the other night, I realised just how many venues there are open, particularly through the top of town, that really complement, I guess, in the future what we will also have here. But so in that regard, I do appreciate the agility, how quickly we move to activate here and respond to, I guess, the third-party activation that was going on, the car lapping night. We had all these, both residents and visitors emerge.
I think we've seen just in the past weekend, we had the Friday, Saturday and Sunday activated, and these are all community-led events. The Friday was, First Nations was, council supported that one. Saturday was the Plant and Garden Market, and Sunday was Queer Switch, and these were all activities that, see the precinct as a place to host these kinds of events.
Yeah. I guess I was more talking about, though, not necessarily the precinct hosting, but being an ancillary or secondary spot to go. And take advantage of other things going on in the city and drawing the crowds in. Letting our residents know. I'm still, because we live and breathe this, I guess, there are residents who haven't visited CBD for a long time, but there was nothing really to come in for, they would argue. So I still love seeing their surprise when they see what we've created. So looking for any opportunity to draw in the people off the back of, community-led activations. So thank you. No other questions? Thank you.
If I may ask,
Sorry,
Chair?
Mayor.
Very excited about the dinosaurs. How big are they?
Oh, Mayor, they are extraordinary.
Obviously not life size, but
I want to say life size. Well, we will say life size because we can only imagine how large they were, but it's very large.
do we tie in with our say children's library, so they've got a few books on dinosaurs at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a great relationship with our libraries and our art gallery as well, and our tenants. So we'll actually soon roll out a little bit of a mini campaign with different types of dinosaur-themed menu offers. For example, we're working with our tenants to create, dinosaur sushi rolls and dinosaur nails as well, all sorts of things. So there's really a lot of options that we're working with, and the tenants are really getting on board as well. So not only will there be the dinosaurs, but there's also mini market stalls. We've got a little competition going as well where the kids will dig up, I don't want to give too much away just yet, but they will dig up little prizes, and that goes back to our tenants too. So wherever we can, we're trying to incorporate everybody and really theme the whole experience.
Yes, we have fossil coffee. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms Sutton. So the recommendation is that the Nicholas Street Precinct Communications Engagement and Events monthly report be received and the contents noted. I'll move that. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Milligan. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Sorry. Open up for discussion. Thank you, Mayor.
If I may, Chair. It's wonderful to see that not only are we and the residents here enjoying Nicholas Street Precinct, but it's interesting to see that the urban developer industry in their Excellence Awards for category of Excellence in Marketing and Innovation have shortlisted the Nicholas Street Precinct team and council. So obviously we have to wait till August for the awards, but it's great to, it's nice to have that external validation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That we're doing everything right. We have a great responsibility to the people of Ipswich to make sure that this is done correctly and done to the benefit of the people of Ipswich. So to get that external validation is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just wanted to raise one other issue, I guess, when we think about the activation and the events going on in our space, you know, security and safety is always paramount. We don't often talk about that, fortunately, because we don't have any real incidents to worry about. But obviously, with what's going on in southeast Queensland, particularly at the moment, yeah, we're just very fortunate to have Safe City, and just want to take the opportunity to thank our Safe City team led by Larry, who worked very closely with the Nicholas Street Precinct team and the wider Ipswich Central council officers, just to provide that safe environment that we're fortunate to have here, but also to be really responsive, I guess, to the homeless and rough sleeper sort of crisis that's has emerged, you know, in all cities, and we are not left out of that. We have our challenges here, and when we think about our public toilets and facilities that are beautiful and built for our new development here, but they are also publicly available, and I know our Safe City team do open up the showers and do provide some toiletries from, you know, time to time to help our homeless interact and enjoy the space as well. So that makes me very proud that goes on. That's not something that's talked about a lot and should be really celebrated.
Yeah, and I think, Chair, too, the Queensland Police have been great too. Like yesterday, the mobile police facility was there, which is a mobile police station. You know, it's got the full functionality of a police station there, and they're regular visitors here as well.
Yeah, it's always great to see them in the precinct, along with the police horses. They're just delightful. Okay, if there's nothing further, we will put the matter to the vote. All those in favour, noting it's unanimous and carried. We have no notices of motion and there's no matters arising. So I will close the meeting at 1:26.